So we go to the island, La Isla de las Muñecas, as the Mexicans now call it. This island, which looks so peaceful, green, and overgrown with tall grass, is notorious among the locals. It seems that this place has become a tourist destination, but still they try not to look there. Even the tourists who came to see the local attraction quickly feel uncomfortable. Thousands of mutilated dolls hanging from trees greet people. Blind eyes watch their every move, and at night, rumor has it, the dolls come to life and lure those who linger on the island into the swamp to their certain death. What could be so terrifying about a doll? Every girl growing up had one. Dressed up, beautiful, so much like a real baby. But why are dolls so often the heroines of ghost stories, legends, and horror movies? And why does the island of dead dolls, with its thousands of dolls that have lost their owners, cause such horror and disgust? The story of the island of dead dolls began in the middle of the last century in the center of Mexico, near the town of Xochimilco. Here once lived the most ordinary man, Julian Santana Barrera. He was not very sociable or talkative, but there was nothing strange about that. Who likes to be alone? Julian grew vegetables on the island and sold them. And if it had not been for chance, Julian Santana would have lived all his life. But once, in the canal not far from the island, children were swimming. A little girl drowned. Julian heard about it, of course, but little did he know that his life would change from that moment on. A little later, he noticed a doll floating slowly past his island. He fished it out, for it was without a doubt the doll of the drowned girl. That same day, he heard a voice for the first time. The dead girl spoke to him. Obeying her command, Julian hung the doll on a tree, not realizing that he had begun the island's terrible collection. One doll was not enough for the girl. She demanded more and more. It was not easy to get rid of her. The farmer probably tried, but the dead child was stronger and completely subjugated the man's will, forcing him to do her bidding. She needed toys, and Julian, who sold the vegetables he grew, took payment not in money but in dolls, all kinds of dolls. New, old, broken, but dolls, because the girl's voice told him to. He roamed the city, rummaged through the garbage dumps, looked for discarded dolls, brought them back to his island and hung them from the trees. The locals were afraid of him. As boats sailed past the island, they looked in horror at the plastic dolls hanging from the branches, dolls with arms and legs torn off, eyeless and frightening. No daredevil would agree to spend the night on that island, in the company of dead dolls, and only Julian lived there, all alone, still following the orders of the girl and the dolls, who also suddenly had the power of speech. The dolls kept coming, but it was not easy to please the drowned girl. Hundreds of dolls soon turned into thousands. The whole island was lined with dolls, and the girl demanded more and more. According to the inhabitants, who bought or traded vegetables for old dolls, Julian was so intimidated by the spirit of the girl that he did not dare to leave the island. He built a kind of shrine to the dead girl in a small hut, hoping that she would leave him alone. But not so. One day in 2001, he was found drowned in the same canal where the girl had drowned. It is not known who forced the poor man to commit suicide, the girl or the dolls, but his story ended sadly. Julian is gone, but his dolls, hung in the trees, remain. They stare at visitors with eerie, empty eyes. Thousands of tourists come here, and the dolls watch each one carefully. Who knows, maybe they will choose a suitable victim, someone who will fulfill their will, someone who will bring new dolls here, someone who will become the next owner of the island, but not for long. The shocked woman bought it, brought it home, and put it on her daughter's crib, which remained in its place in the nursery. A few days later, Rosie's father, a fairly young and healthy man, died. Rosie's mother, Mary, went mad and threw herself out of the window with the doll. Over time, the story of the cursed doll continued. For several years, Bilo Baby was in the museum of the American town of Key West, Florida, whose employees were listed in the chronic losers. They fell under cars or received electric shocks. Once the doll disappeared again and appeared only a few years later at an auction. American magazine Anthony Price, specializing in abnormal topics, bought a cursed doll from a group of Satanists in New York and gave some museum of horror, witchcraft, and superstition. The museum owner says he didn't even have time to put Bilo Baby in the main exhibit. There was a short circuit and the museum burned down. But the cursed doll survived. In 2005, it was seen in Moscow. She was brought to visit the Moscow Rotary Club on Halloween. She stayed in Moscow for 3 days, and the whole top of the Rotary Club during this time had time to enjoy one of the main occult myths of our century. It is said that the porcelain Miss Horror has not yet returned from Moscow. Whether this is true or not is up to you to decide. Remember one thing: cursed dolls are traveling the world. Be careful. What if one of them wants to drop in on you? Dolls have always been girls' favorite toys, but they became children's toys around the 15th century. Before that, dolls were used mainly in magic and were of great importance in various rituals, mostly black, aimed at causing evil. In scary stories, which are retold to each other by residents of different countries, killer dolls are called the same: cursed or cursed. 6 cursed dolls are known to have been made, but the story of only one is known. The history of this doll began in 1922 in the American city of Key West, Florida. The doll was made by the master Charles Wincox, a member of the occult order Golden Dawn. The order was founded in the early 20th century by Aleister Crowley. The sect included such famous people as Bram Stoker, Howard Lovecraft, Ron Haggard. Charles Wincox, a puppeteer, was known for the fact that dolls made by his hands scared away the spirit of death, that a sick child, holding such a toy in his hands, could live a little longer. But the master is said to have made his dolls after the images of dead children from the St. Augustine orphanage, and these dolls were very human-like. One of them, a doll named Bilo Baby, is suspected in 3 murders and numerous accidents. Charles Wincox made her at the request of the parents of little Rosie McCann. The girl suffered from anemia, was often sick, and doctors could not help her. Then the puppet master took up the cause. He created a doll for the girl, which could help the sick, but after receiving the gift, Rosie lived only a few days. One morning she was found dead. The child's already frozen hands clutched the doll to her chest with such force that it was impossible to unclench them. The girl was put in a coffin together with the toy. Sometime later, Rosie's parents accused the master of poisoning their daughter, claiming that the poison was hidden in the toy. The police opened the grave, going to conduct an examination, but the doll was no longer in the coffin. The master had also disappeared forever. Perhaps he had eluded the police, or perhaps the doll had gotten to him before. The Bilo Baby doll was discovered exactly 12 years later. Mary, the mother of the dead girl Rosie, saw her in a junk shop.